Guys, it's Sarah, and today we are going to talk about my priority reads for 2024. Now, I did this last year where I had 12 books that I put as my priorities, thinking like one a month, very easy, but I didn't get to all those. This year, I only picked 10, so one a month, but I can spread them out a little bit more as well, and we'll just see how many I get to. There's not going to be any punishment if I don't read them all, then they just go back on my shelf if I'm still interested. So no worries on that. But I picked 10 this year. So let me show you what they are. First one is The Wishing Game. This is by Meg Schaefer. This is a book that so many people have been talking about and absolutely loving. And I want to see what all the hype is about. It's actually a shorter one. This, I believe, doesn't it have a little bit of a Willy Wonka feel to it? I believe so. And it involves an author, but everyone has been raving about it. Okay, this is my big one. This is a big one. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I debated back and forth about whether or not to even put it on this list. Here's my thing. I have been in this mind frame of I'm not going to read this until book 3 is announced, that it actually is coming out. This is a whole George R.R. Martin, I'm never going to finish Game of Thrones books. Same with this guy. The second book was published over a decade ago, I believe. And I don't know. Book 3 is supposed to come out. And from what we're hearing, he's writing it, but it ain't anywhere on the horizon. So I was kind of on the fence about, what do I do? Do I just go ahead and read it and just wait? Or do I wait until the third one comes out? But here's the thing. I've also heard you can read this and be fine. This can read as a standalone by itself if you wanted to. That's what I've heard from people who have read it. And then people who have read it love it. I have not heard a single bad thing about this book at all. And that keeps me intrigued as well. Like, I really want to read this then. So if I can read this as a standalone and I don't have to, wait for the third one to be able to enjoy this one, then why not? Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting? I don't need to. So I am going to go ahead and put this on this list for this year. And I would like to read it this year. It is one of the biggest fantasy books in the genre. And again, just heard completely amazing things about it. So we'll see. But this is a very famous sorcerer, I believe, is telling his story to a scribe. And then you're getting the story that way. And I love that. But I think it's time. I think it's time to read this one. Okay, the next one is The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. I have read Kate Quinn before and I loved the book that I read from her. And I definitely want to read more. And I was like, why haven't I read this one? This is probably her most popular and most beloved book, and I haven't read it. So yeah, I'm really surprised. I don't read a ton of historical fiction. I really went through a phase where I thought I was going to read all the historical fiction. I won't, but I do like it if I pick up a really good one. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a really good one. I think Kate Quinn is going to be a really good historical fiction author for me, considering the last one, or the only one that I read from her before, which was The Huntress. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. So I trust her, and I would like to read her most popular book finally. Speaking of authors I trust, Kristen Hanna. I cannot believe I have not read The Great Alone. I'm actually really surprised I haven't read this one. I absolutely love Kristen Hanna, though, as an author. This is one I'll definitely listen to because her books are usually narrated by Julia Whalen, and they're always wonderful. And Kristen Hanna really handles hard topics in a really impactful way. This one follows a family who the father is at war, and I believe it's Vietnam, I think. Nope. What is it? It's in the 70s. Maybe it is Vietnam. Okay, yeah, it is Vietnam. I was like, wait a second. So it's a man who serves at Vietnam. He was a POW, and then he is sent home, and he is dealing with extreme PTSD. And back then, that wasn't talked about, or that was seen as a weakness. And he moves his entire family to Alaska and basically lives off the grid. And then winter hits. So we'll see how this goes. I think it's going to be hard, but I think it's going to be fantastic as well. So yeah, this is on my list. Okay, last year, TJ Klune was on my list, and I did read that one, and that worked out real well. So I'm going to go ahead and put him on here again with In the Lives of Puppets. And this is one of my favorite authors. I love his books so much. And this is the newest one from him, his most recent release. And I am just very, very excited to read this book. This is a Pinocchio-inspired story where there is a search happening and the characters are really quirky. But I absolutely loved the 2 books that I've read from him so far, and I have a feeling this is also going to be another 5-star for me. So very excited to read it. This next one is one that every time I look at it, I want to pick it up. And I see it a lot at work because it's a big seller, and that is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And this one, I will be reading it because this is one of my 5-star predictions for this first round. So I'll definitely be getting to this one. But every time I see it, I just think I want to read it for sure. I know that this has something to do with letters and some sort of either forbidden or maybe enemies to lovers, possibly type thing. It is a young adult fantasy book. That's all I really know. I'm going into this pretty blind, but I have heard amazing things about it from people who have read it. So I'm going to see what I think. Next one I have here is a science fiction book, and that is The World Gives Way. This is by Marissa Levine. I have heard such good things about this book. I've been reading it and absolutely loving it. And I had never heard of it before until I think I saw it on Holly's channel, Holly Hart's Books. She talked about this because she read it and absolutely loved it. She got an early copy and she was really shocked by how much she loved it. And then I heard about it on a podcast as well. That I was just like, man, okay, I need to read this book. So I did buy it. It's gorgeous. And yeah, this is a sci-fi set on a space city, almost like a ship, but it's almost its own city, and it's traveling through the solar system or whatever. So that's all I know, but we'll see what it's all about when I actually get to it. Okay, next one is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I have been wanting to read more Leigh Bardugo, and I just haven't picked anything else up yet. I did read her Shadow and Bone series, the first 3 in that trilogy, and I really enjoyed them. I really did. And I want to read more. And this one definitely intrigues me because this is like a dark academia type thing. I believe witches are involved for sure. There's secret societies and stuff. So I really definitely want to check it out and see what I think because I would like to read more from her. Right, next is one that was on my most anticipated list of last year, and I didn't get to it, but I really, really want to, and I just keep hearing great things about it, and that is Chain Gang All-Stars. This is by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah, and I have just heard incredible things about this book, and it's something that I definitely want to kind of sink my teeth into and go through slowly and, make sure I'm paying attention to it. It's not one that I'm going to kind of fly through because this is going to be very heavy. This is a book that follows a prison system that is very closely mirrors ours. It is kind of a alternate world, though, I think, from what I'm understanding, and it is following this system where they pit prisoners against each other like gladiator form, and I think they're called gladiators, and they have them like basically fight to the death in competitions and stuff, and whoever wins is supposed to earn their freedom. We'll see about that. I have a feeling that's not going to be what happens. But I believe there are 2 women in this program who are kind of warriors and, the best of the best type thing. And I believe they're also in a relationship. So we'll see how all that goes. But yeah, I've just heard incredible things about it, and I just really want to read it. And last, but definitely not least, one that I really wanted to read last year and I didn't get to it. And every time I look at it, I want to pick it up. And that is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. And man, I just really want to read this book. This one follows the victims of a serial killer. So not the serial killer himself, but the victims, their lives, what led them to the point where they were targeted and, all that kind of stuff. This is based on Ted Bundy. He is the inspiration for the serial killer in here, and that's very apparent. I really want to read it. I really want to read this so bad. I've heard such great things. All right, those are my priority reads for the year for 2024. Hopefully I can get to at least one a month. We'll see how it all goes. Again, no consequences if I don't. They just go back on my shelves. So it's totally fine, but I really, really want to read them. So let me know down below if you have read any of these. Which one should I pick up first? Let me know that. Maybe if there's an overwhelming amount, I will go ahead and pick one of those up here in January or February. I would love to know your thoughts, and I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.